Hey folks, it is late December and this is the last month of my 2024 clay challenge. I had intended to use calico this month, but I found a few more varieties during a recent visit to the Laguna Clay store. So this video is going to be a comparison of the four. Before looking at the glaze results, I thought it would be cool to discuss some of the working characteristics of each clay type. The porcelain 5 clay is sticky to the touch and it's very smooth. Calico feels grainy when you use a lot of water and it's got a medium smoothness. The graystone is also tacky to the touch like that porcelain 5, but it's super smooth and easy to throw. And finally, the 52 buff with sand felt really grainy, but it's like a typical stoneware, super easy to throw. All of these are good, workable clay bodies. While the graystone and porcelain 5 required a bit more finesse to shape, I thought they were reasonable. And it seems like I needed to use a bit more water, and I had to devote a little bit more focus when forming those plates. The calico and the 52 buff with sand felt like typical stoneware bodies, very forgiving, good wet strength, and easy to fix if you make a mistake. As expected, the calico and 52 buff with sand were grainy and crumbly during the leather hard trimming phase. The graystone and the porcelain 5 were extremely smooth and easy to trim. I did, however, notice a bit more drag with the porcelain 5 clay. Burnishing with the metal rib was easy, no drama to report, and the 52 buff with sand had some drag marks at the bottom. However, I did not re-wet the pot during this trimming phase. Finally, the graystone had a little bit of color variation from the outside and the area that was just trimmed. All right, folks, we had somewhat of a successful bisque firing. There is a first time for everything. Had an explosion in the kiln. This is pretty wild. Yeah, don't know what to say about that. Other than there's too much moisture in it. Despite a 4-hour preheat, that was not enough to get this thing to dry out properly. But luckily, that was not huge and catastrophic. At any rate, we've got the calico goodies right here. This one is the graystone. We've got the 52 buff. Look at how colorful that is, especially next to this graystone over here. It's got that buff appearance to it. And then of course we've got the porcelain 5. So let's go and glaze all of these. I'm thinking this one is going to be green because that's my least favorite. I really love the aqua and the hyacinth. So yeah, let's just cut to the kiln opening. All right, so it is Christmas Eve right now, the 24th. Let's go off script and look at the results inside the kiln. My goodness, you got to see this. All right, so my notes say on the top row I have 3 done in, I think, graystone. Yeah, so we got 3 done in graystone and then 1 in calico. So we're looking good. Here's the calico, here are the graystones. All right, so this is definitely the 52 buff. You could just see it's just got that toasty look to it. That's got to be the calico. Notice that big difference between the two. This 52 buff, and here's that unfortunate calico. And on this row, we've got 3 of the porcelain 5s. So here's a porcelain 5, and then here is that, I think, 52 buff. And then here are the last 2 of those porcelain 5s. All right, so this is looking pretty good. I'm very pleased with the yield. I think from this little tiny KM822, I've got about 9 mugs, about 6 or 7 coasters, got maybe 6 of these little goblets, and then of course I got these 12 little plates. So let's just kind of go over some of the results. First thing I should mention is that this porcelain 5, these little guys, they are clink, clink, clinking. So the pots are singing, so I know we're getting microscopic cracks in them. So I don't know, I think maybe I should just wait for the kiln to drop down to 50 or 60 degrees before opening them. But here are the results. This is what porcelain 5 looks like. And of course, I left the bottom unfinished deliberately because I wanted to see what does it look like when you burnish the edge with a little bit of that smoothing. So generally speaking, these are absolutely pretty. These look great. I just need to learn how to throw porcelain better because it's too sticky. I'm not good at it. All right, let's talk about 52 buff. So same deal. So that green looks fantastic. So does that aqua. By the way, I've gotten really good at spraying glaze, so I'm pretty certain that I did a good job with keeping the application the same all the way across. These look great. Pretty pleased. Normally I don't leave clay unfinished like this, but I think this turned out nicely. All right, so let's look at the gray stone. So here are the 3. And you know, just when looking at them, by the way, this one you could see that burnished edge. It has like a different color to it. Looks like there's a different appearance. I don't know. Probably part of the reason could be due to contaminated water, because you saw I went through all of these in the same, 10-minute time span. And finally, here are the last 3. Let me try to hide this unsightly hole. Can't believe I had an explosion in the kiln. That's so bizarre. And then here's that last one. All right, so I think the excitement's going to come from the side-by-side comparison. All right, so let's have a quick look at that side-by-side. Hopefully with this close-up is going to help you get an idea of the variation with the color that you're going to get based on the different types of clay. Now, this little guy right here is our calico. We've got our 52 buff with sand, and then we've got our gray stone right here, and then finally our porcelain 5. All right, so same layout. Here's our calico, porcelain 5, the gray stone right there, and our 52 buff with sand. Let's get in a little bit closer. This kind of a green is the spring green. It's one of the Cone 5 Moroccan sand clay glazes. There you go. That's a better look. All right, so here is the last side-by-side. Looks real pretty when you see that hyacinth purple pool in some of those areas. So you can definitely tell here's a low point. Got to fix that part on my throwing. But it still looks nice to have that ring. Get a nice close-up. Right, so here's that porcelain 5, and let's get like a inside-outside view. Here's that calico. Here's that gray stone. Let me apologize for the handheld camera. And then finally, here's the 52 buff with sand. All right, folks, so that concludes the 2024 challenge. While it was pretty wild in the middle due to the whole remodel and building of the studio, I don't know, I thought it was pretty successful. The last few months were really productive, and I'm excited to finally get back into the studio and to really figure out what works best for my process. So will I do another monthly challenge? No way. It was too stressful and too time consuming, and I don't know if I want to fire the kiln that many times. But I do have something in mind for 2025. So one of the things I really want to work on is lidded vessels. So what I started to experiment with is like, okay, how can I make a teacup with a little slot? And I'm already foreseeing that this is going to be a problem. I've also got a lid with a vent hole in it, but I just want to practice and see what happens. So please go ahead and join me. And if you have a YouTube channel and you're doing some kind of a challenge for 2025, or you make your own videos, leave a comment and let me know, because I would love to follow your channel and see what your progress is like. And yeah, if you have any comments, yeah, that's something I'm starting to get into. If I'm going to start asking people to leave comments for 2025, because I don't know, I want to meet some more pottery friends and get some more ideas. So, with that said, Happy New Year. Thanks for following along. Bye.